Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm sharing a story that's probably one of the most intense things I've ever experienced. It still gives me chills just thinking about it, and it happened when I was in my junior year of high school. You know, lockdown drills were pretty common back then. The kind where everyone would quietly laugh, maybe goof off a little, hide in a corner, and then wait for the all clear announcement. Nobody really took them seriously. They were just ... drills. But this wasn't like that at all. It was a grey Thursday morning, the kind of day where the sky just felt heavy. Rain was coming down hard, drumming against the windows, and the hallways smelled exactly like you'd expect: wet shoes and that particular aroma of cheap cafeteria food. My first period was art, in room 214. It was a great room, honestly, with these huge glass windows that looked right out onto the courtyard. And I remember those windows specifically because that's exactly where I saw him. A man standing outside the gate, just completely still in the rain. At first, I thought maybe it was one of the school janitors, you know, just taking a break or something. But he was wearing a black hoodie, with the hood pulled up tight over his head, and he wasn't moving at all. Just standing there, staring intensely at the school building. I looked away for a second, maybe to grab a pencil or something, and when I looked back, he was gone. Vanished. It was unsettling, but I just shrugged it off. Maybe he'd gone inside, or just walked away. The bell rang right after that, and everyone started filing into class, still buzzing with morning energy. Class went on like normal for a while. We were probably halfway through, sketching or working on some clay projects, when the loudspeaker crackled to life. It was an abrupt sound that always made everyone jump. Then, a voice came through, strained and urgent. "Attention all staff and students. Lockdown, this is not a drill." The room went silent. You could feel the air just get sucked out of the room. Every single one of us froze. Even our art teacher, who was usually super calm and collected, had her hand trembling slightly as she reached up and flicked off the lights. The huge windows, which moments ago had been letting in that dreary light, were quickly covered with dark paper or blinds. I can't remember which, just anything to obscure the view from outside. We all instinctively crouched low behind the big shelves. The ones filled with paint, cans, brushes, and those half-finished clay projects. We could hear the rain still pouring outside, a relentless drumming sound, but inside, there was nothing else. Just the sound of our own breathing, hushed and shallow. And then, faintly at first, we heard it. Footsteps in the hallway, slow, heavy. Each step seemed to echo, even though the floors were carpeted. It felt like they were getting closer and closer. Our teacher, Miss Davies, whispered, her voice barely audible, "Stay quiet, everyone." She held her phone tightly in one hand, pressing it against her chest like it was a lifeline. The footsteps stopped. They stopped right outside our door. My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it. Then came a knock. 3 times, slow, heavy, knock, knock. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. We were all just frozen, a tableau of fear. The sound of the metal door handle turning made my heart feel like it actually stopped in my chest. It didn't open, thank goodness. It was locked, as per lockdown protocol, but whoever was outside started whispering. We couldn't make out what they were saying at first. It was just a low murmur against the door. Then, in a voice that was low and raspy, almost like a growl, we heard it clearly. "I know you're in there." The girl next to me, Sarah, started crying quietly, just soft, choked sobs. Miss Davies quickly reached out, squeezed Sarah's hand, and shook her head, a silent command for her to stay strong. The handle rattled again, harder this time, as if whoever was outside was trying to force it open. Then, silence. Absolute, deafening silence. Minutes stretched into what felt like an eternity. 5 minutes passed, maybe 10. It was impossible to tell. Every second felt like an hour. Then, the intercom crackled again, and a new voice came on. But it wasn't our principal. It was a man's voice, deep and distorted, like it was coming through static. "This is the principal speaking. Everyone come out quietly." Ms. Davies frowned, her brow furrowed in confusion and alarm. That definitely wasn't Principal Thompson's voice. His voice was higher, more distinctive. She immediately whispered, "Stay down. Don't move." Another few seconds passed, and the same voice came back, trying to sound reassuring, but it just made it worse. "Everything is fine now. Doors can be opened." That's when Ms. Davies finally reached for her phone, not to make a call, but to check for alerts. Her eyes widened, and her face went completely pale. She had a missed alert from the Real School app. It read, "Remain locked down. Intruder in the west hallway. Police on site." She didn't need to say anything. Her expression told us everything we needed to know. We stayed silent, huddled together, until we heard new sounds. This time, it was clear voices. Real police voices, shouting in the hall. "Clear. Move to the next room. This room is clear." When they finally opened our door, it was like a dam broke. An officer, serious-faced, asked if we'd heard anything. Ms. Davies didn't even need to speak. She just pointed to the door handle. It was covered in fresh, muddy fingerprints. The rain outside had left its mark. Later, we found out the man outside was a former janitor who had been fired 2 months earlier for breaking into the storage building. They said he came back that day with a backpack full of knives. Security cameras caught him trying to get into several classrooms, including ours. He wasn't able to get inside any of the rooms, and thankfully, no one was hurt that day. The police apprehended him somewhere on school grounds, but I don't know the full details after that. That day left an impression on all of us. Even now, years later, every time it rains, and I hear a knock at my door, just for a split second, I still hear that voice. "I know you're in there." It's a chilling reminder of how quickly a normal day can turn into something terrifying, and how important it is to take safety protocols seriously. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About the hidden dangers that can sometimes be right outside our door. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to my story. It means a lot to share it with you all. If you found this video impactful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories and content. Your support helps me keep making these videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.